your seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr bringing topics of all kinds, from cigars to sports, family and more. Everyday stories you'll want to explore. So take a puff or ponder away. Join the talk, it's the highlight of your day. Puff and ponder where the sparks ignite, conversations blazing day or night. Tune in now, let the stories take flight. It's the Puff and Ponder podcast, where we get it right. From fast cars to last night's game, family laughs or today's big name. We've got the topics, we've got the vibe. Stay tuned in and enjoy the ride. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. Relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. Oh, hesitate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. I'm your host, Kevin Shahan. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Kerr Viajante. How's it going, Kerr? Not much.
It's going, bro. It's going, man. I see you got a nice shiny head.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my headphones. They're not on quite right without a hat. Yeah, I got the started the tattoo, redoing my entire head. So super stoked about this project. So it's going to take a few months. So yeah, it hurts, Kerr. It hurts real bad.
I bet.
I reached out to my family doctor the other day, and I'm like, listen, I barely got through that first session. I go, what can you give me? I go, do you got any samples? I go, I need a non-opioid, like low drowsy, like something to just take the edge off. I don't want to be all loopy because I don't take medicine at all, like painkillers or anything like that. So like it can't be anything, so he's going to get back to me. So I don't know what there is that I can take to just kind of get me through it a little bit. Cause it's bad, real bad.
Yeah.
But, oh well, it is what it is.
The worst spot on your body that you got tattooed is the most painful?
No, it's not even in the top 5, but it's painful. So it stings quite a bit. I'm not gonna lie, but they all hurt every fight. And then the older you get, the worse tattoos hurt. Period. Mm-hmm. Like it just sucks more now than anything else. And this one was a little bit more difficult because it was just he's one guy. He has it's like a really badass art studio in this complex. And it's just me and him. He doesn't talk. He puts on an audiobook. So in the past, I'm used to being tattooed in a tattoo studio. It's every Friday night for 2 years. I'm in there for 4 to 6 hours. The whole crowd's talking. We're all having a good time. And you just don't concentrate on the tattoo. It hurts, but, when it's just you within your own thoughts, counting the times and the needle hits your skull.
Yeah, I'm sure, man.
Yeah, it's a little rougher.
So where is the most painful spot?
Probably, it's going to be the ribs, without a doubt. Ribs, my armpits, the back of the calf. People say bone on bone, but like my shin wasn't that bad at all. But my calf, super meaty muscle, unbelievably painful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Then other people say, one thing, other people say different. I think everybody's in agreement that the butt. I don't have my butt tattooed, but yeah, I think
How do you
You're
not have your
talking
butt? How do you not have your butt tattooed,
because
Kevin?
I heard it. I heard it hurts really, really badly, and I can't show it off anyway. So what's the point of having your butt tattooed? So I'm not a thong type of guy.
Yeah, but once a year, you like to bust
Yeah,
out that holiday spirit, you know.
that's it. Once a year for sure. What's going on, Henry? What's going on, Colby? So, Kerr, I got a dilemma. My whole world has been turned upside down, and I'm not fucking happy about it.
Okay.
So Jessica got one of
Talk
them
to
little
me.
those little wax melt warmers, that got fragrance in it, but it's
Yeah.
not like the standalone that plugs in the outlet. It like pushes into the outlets, like all one unit.
Yeah.
So last night, in our
Mhm.
bathroom,
Mhm.
the lights go out, and what's going on, John? So I'm like, all right. I mean, that vanity light, is probably 8 years old, so it's time to replace it, anyways. And so pull it down, and the wires, that didn't look too bad, but I'm like, whatever, maybe it burnt the ballast. So I put a nice new LED up, flick the switch, it's not on. So I'm like, all right, now time to pull out the switch. So pulled out that little stupid thing and it was super hot. So basically it overheated the back of that outlet, burned off the outlet.
Hey.
And so replaced the two. It's got two outlets on one side, then two switches on the other side, one switch for the light, one switch for the bathroom fan. So I get one in, and the wires aren't long. They built the new ones upside down versus my old one. So now it used to be the top one was light, bottom one was a fan. Now the bottom one is the light, the top one is a fan. And not only, now they switch on the opposite way. So now we're all going in there just hitting all the switches with
just random freaking hoping that you remember what it does.
Yeah, I know. Like, 15 years being in this house with the switches going the right way and the top one. So we're gonna have to learn, because I'm not
That's the worst. I mean, it's first world problems, but it sucks. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not calling an electrician just to extend like a pigtail,
so
I can have it the other way around.
No, not yet, at least.
Yeah, not
yet.
If
we're having this conversation next month, you're like, listen, dude, there's a electrician coming in, and
they say it only takes 2 weeks. I just realized I wasn't smoking a cigar. Like, I didn't even.
I was getting ready to ask you, what are you going to smoke?
Oh my god! So I guess I'll I've been smoking a crap ton of these. I guess I'll smoke another since it's right here on my box. The JC Newman Bricktoberfest 2026. I don't know if I smoked this last week on the show or not. Got the new Bricktoberfest Bricktoberfest Stein. Go over to jcnewmancigars.com or jcnewman.com, and they have a retail finder. You cannot buy cigars on their website in case the YouTube algorithm is peaking. But if you go to their website, there is a retail finder. And if you go into one of those locations and purchase 10 brick house, any brick house, doesn't even have to be the Bricktoberfest, you get a free Stein. So that's what I'm going to.
I'm still waiting for mine in the mail. You got to tell the JC Newman family, what the hell.
So, and I'm at 66%. Perfect. So, and then we got another big thing. Go ahead and what are you smoking, Kerr? And then
I don't know yet. I got the Alpha box, the September Alpha box from the Wolfgang Cigar Club.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, these guys are good. We're going to be on their show Wednesday night.
Right on.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's a toss up here because they got a pretty good selection. One of the cigars I never heard of. They got the HVC hot cake. They got the Dapper cigar. The Ukoma. Haze Gray cigars. Have you ever heard of Haze Gray?
No, I haven't.
Should I know this cigar?
I don't know.
I don't know. It's called the Admiral. And then Sagrado. We got a Sagrado in here. The
Sagrado, yeah, man. So, it's sad to see them go out of. Sad to see them go out of business.
Yeah, I think I'll smoke a Sagrado in honor of them, and then Escobar Maduro.
Right on.
So I think I'm gonna have the Sagrado. Let me take this out of cellophane, Kevin.
Yeah.
And
right on. Right
Bad
on.
boy. Yeah.
So I was speaking of JC Newman. So this coming up October, I think it's 16th, 17th, and 18th. I think it's a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They're doing a haunted tour. You'll be able to go down. You'll be able to go down into the basement of El Rouleau. Now I've been in the basement, but I'm actually one of the few people that have been in the basement. It's a kind of a creepy place. Yeah, there's a lot of, talking with the employees. So there's a lot of history. So we're super excited. It's only like $25. So the tour is super inexpensive. You got to book online, jcnewman.com. And we're going to do the haunted tour.
You get a cigar if you get to do the haunted tour?
I don't think so, but you never know. I mean, Jessica and I will, because we're Jessica and I.
Well,
But
I'm talking about us. I'm talking about us average co-host slugs.
Yeah. So I don't know. So 16th, 17th, 18th, if you're in historic Ybor City, Florida, or that area, come on down, book online, and come see the haunted tour. John says cool. Navy term, haze gray underway. So, and then JJ Jambalaya smoking a Perdomo, a Legacy Maduro in honor of Bernie Parent.
Bernie Parent, dude.
Parent. So
Bernie Parent, the greatest goalie, the greatest man between the pipes, right there, buddy. Bernie Parent.
Yeah.
Passed away. Flyers, legendary goalie. Actually, one of the things that I got when my dad passed away is he had a autographed jersey of Bernie Parent.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. We used to watch the Flyers back when I was young. When I was into the 70s, so I was really young. I used to watch memories of my dad and I watching the Flyers game.
Yeah, it was Jessica and I were talking last night because I entered a contest with my local Ohio State alumni club to win 2 tickets to the Ohio State Penn State game coming up. Fantastic seats, $2,600 per seat is what they're going for. So you get to raffle them off. And I told Jessica, and she's like, "Oh, you're taking your dad, right?" And I go, "If you win," I'm like, I was kind of gonna see what Kerr was doing. She goes, "You're taking your dad," and I go, "All right, I'll take my dad if I go."
Thanks, Jessica.
Yeah,
appreciate that, Jessica.
Yeah.
Oh, way to go, Jess.
Yeah, way to go.
Fucking A. Yeah. That close to almost.
The only thing we hope for is my dad's busy that day.
Exactly. I'm gonna call him. Be like, "Hey, listen, we're gonna come out. We really need you to be around the house. We gotta check the gas. There's some gas leaks going out there."
Because I figured if it was me and you, I would drive up and pick you up, and we just keep going. Like my dad, though, I can't smoke cigars with my dad in the car for 18 hours. So we'd have to fly up. Yeah, I love my dad. I really want to go. Me and my dad have never seen a Buckeyes game together. So, I mean, don't get this wrong. I would love to have that experience with my dad watching a Buckeyes game. So, I'm just saying I might have a little more. Yeah, but I'm just saying it might be a little more fun.
A little bit more fun. Exactly.
Yeah.
You will have great memories, though, if you're able to take your dad. But I will be if your dad calls you, like, "Listen, Kev, I got a call. Something to do with the government's coming by. We had some gas leaks and stuff." So you're gonna be like, "Fucking Kerr."
Yeah, I know. Yeah, ice shows up at his house. Whatever.
Like, "I don't know. This guy, I've been seeing some shady activity going on."
Well, John Reamer here. Let me share this. Let me share my studio. What is it? Share screen. I think this is.
What's that?
This is John Reamer with Bernie Parent.
Yep. Yeah, I saw that picture earlier.
All right. Yeah. So he's an oldie. When did he play?
60s, 70s.
Oh, okay.
He was a goaltender during the 73-74 season when they won the Stanley Cup.
God, he looks not like beat up, as like some of those guys are
that man. Even when they did the old timer games, when they did like the like all the
Oh,
flyers.
they do old timer games.
Yeah, they still like they would do like all the ex Flyers would come back, and he was like the traditional. You now see all these goalies like diving and spread leg and shit. He was like the original stand up. Well, not the original, but he was a stand up goalie. Like
Yeah.
that shit was coming. He just kick save, and shit out like that. He ended up ending his career because that was back when he just wore the masks, and he got
Yeah.
a stick up in there and really effed his eye up pretty good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but he was one of the great ones, man. He really was. Just I mean, they had bumper stickers. Only God saves more than Bernie Perrant.
Oh.
Back in the day in Philly. So
Yeah.
yeah. If they were smart, they'd go ahead and put a statue up in honor of him now, in that area. Be nice. Be nice to see
Yeah,
that.
you would think, if he was, I mean, he'd already have a statue. Yeah, that's kind
No,
of.
Philly's weird, man. They put up statues, they take them down. They had what's her face, who used to sing "God Bless America" before the games. Kate, God, I can't believe literally like they would do the national anthem, but before
Yeah.
they're in their big heyday in the Stanley Cup, they had I can't remember. I can't believe it. Kate Smith. Thanks, John. Kate Smith come out and sing "God Bless America," and then several years ago, there was something going on during cancel culture, where they freaking moved her statue or covered it. They moved it and did some bullshit. But again, not knowing the whole history behind what good Kate Smith did, especially during that time with children, homeless children, African American children, just again cancel culture. I mean, it's kind of coming full circle, right? I mean, we're starting to see a little bit more of this whole Jimmy Kimmel thing going on.
Yeah.
He's going to be back, but I think what's funny is remember he was the one who came out and really kind of um, applauded when Roseanne was canceled, and other folks, they push for that stuff, and then he gets canceled. I mean,
Yeah, and if he hadn't turned left wing, sucking the teat off Disney, if he couldn't have, that's why he had to go. Being a co-host of the Man Show, he could never have gotten in Hollywood.
Oh God, no!
Without turning to the other side and becoming a left wing person, he had to have done that. Because look at Adam Carolla. I mean, Adam Carolla doesn't give two shits about Hollywood. Hates the whole thing. He loves podcasts, loves building and all that. But yeah, I mean, they never would have let Adam Carolla do anything.
But Adam Carolla is not Jimmy Kimmel hosting the Tonight Show or whatever, and so it is funny is the different quotes that you read and what he did too. I mean, during the Man Show, it's kind of like Howard Stern, right? Back in the day, everyone loved Howard Stern. He was funny. He was hilarious. I used to listen to him all the time. Now, you'd almost think that early part of his career never happened.
Oh yeah.
I mean, literally, you'd think that stuff never occurred. So I look at it this way. If you're going to support free speech, and I do believe in free speech, you're going to have to support it good, bad, and ugly. You're going to have to support it in opposing views. You're going to have to support it if someone doesn't have the same ideology or political belief that you do. Because eventually, these things are cyclical, and it doesn't take a lot of time for you who will say, you know what? Best thing that ever happened, Roseanne being canceled. I'm glad it occurred. It's blah, 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 blah. And then you get canceled for what you say. At that point, what's going to happen is everyone's going to get this little scale out, and everyone's going to start measuring and weighing what was said and why this was bad and this was good and this one was because of the Trump administration. This was this and that. And at the end of the day, if you believe in free speech, you're going to be like, listen, that person's stupid. What they said was stupid. But, freedom of speech is not a one of those things that it's it's only
Yeah,
for
I mean,
smart. It's not for smart people only.
yeah, if we can still allow the View, those girls on the Views to still be on air, we can allow a lot of free speech.
Well, that's the thing is, it can't be slanderous.
Yeah,
Freedom of speech can't be slanderous. It can't be. But even if it's pretty funny, especially with Bill Maher, when you hear some of the stuff that he's been saying. I mean, and I've always liked Bill Maher. When he's younger, I thought he was he's a little pompous. I think he's been grounded a little bit more.
yeah,
I think he's definitely matured some, but um, you know, uh, freedom of speech is tough because you have to fight for what you want to say, but you also have to fight for the person who is opposing what you're saying.
yeah. I completely agree. And freedom of speech means that like I said, there are consequences to your actions, but you better be able to defend what you say, and take it to the grave. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm assuming Kimmel will come out and apologize and, oh, it was misconstrued. I really didn't mean that. And listen, we know what you meant. We know what you meant. Own it.
we're
Just own it.
stupid. It's
Yeah.
in one side, their opinion is that was stupid. Another side is, hey, I agree with it. But it's like anything else. They said it's freedom of speech doesn't mean that your employer has to like what you're saying in that situation. And I
Yeah.
think we all run that risk, right? Of exercising our freedom of speech. It gets dicey when it comes into if you're speaking about your faith and someone says, "Well, I don't agree with your faith, so I'm going to fire you," or or whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't think that I'm personally a fan of free speech. So if Jimmy Kimmel says something as stupid, or if Roseanne Barr says something stupid, or Bill Maher, or you know uh, Tucker Carlson, or whomever, listen, I'll just turn the channel. If I don't want to hear it,
Yeah,
that's it.
we're on air live. I do a lot of other videos. There are things that I watch what I say, just because I don't want to get fired from my job.
Yeah,
Luckily, I mean my company's pretty conservative company, so I'd have to say something pretty outrageous. But it's not like you're not gonna one person's going to boycott my whole company for something I said. But I don't want to put my company in that situation. So I just, the things I don't say, there are things I want to say, and I don't. But because I know the consequences of my words can mean my job,
yeah.
so I just don't say them. They had that old clip of Johnny Carson, and they were asking him why
Oh,
he didn't
yeah, he's
the
some
other
fire
side.
guy. Oh, he got
Oh,
the
Democrat, left side. Kerr and I
oh,
lean more towards right, but or I'm not. I mean, we're not so far right we can't see the middle, but we're a little bit more conservative. So we're talking about the progressives over there. But yeah, Johnny Carson. They asked him, you got like a big platform, why don't you talk about politics? He's like, it's not my job.
yeah,
Not my job.
yeah.
His job is to make people laugh. And he did poke fun, it showed a couple clips, but nothing, never got into like all of them do, like a 5-minute monologue at the beginning and just be 100% about politics.
But it's not even
Before it was
funny
like,
anymore. It's not even
yeah,
humor.
oh, it's not, because like I said before, it was like, oh, hey, did you hear about, like the cigar in the White House, and like make like a
Yeah,
little jab about it, and then you move on to the next joke. But
yeah.
it's not funny anymore.
No,
It's not a comedy monologue.
no, it's not. And it's kind of funny. Is I've always been in the middle, because I've have some of my beliefs that are a little bit more left leaning, some of my beliefs are a little bit more right leaning, and it's usually the difference between personal and also
Yeah.
um financial and so on and so forth. But what you have is you have a lot of folks who walk that middle road, and then the extremes on either side start pushing, and they start pushing you a little bit more to one side or the other. And I think it's the lack of acknowledgement of those who are in the middle that are maybe true Democrats, true Republicans, um, that won't call out the extremists for what they are. And then you're in the middle going, you know what, dude, oh, I'm not really digging what you're saying because, call it out. Stop trying to play politics and just, it's common sense. It's just be a good human being. And that's where you start seeing some people, and I see it from both sides, right? You start seeing people who are in the middle
Yeah.
getting pushed a little bit more to the left, and you have other folks being pushed a little bit more to the right. And it's because of the centrists. Now, what you're seeing now is I think you're seeing more of these people in the center are really getting sick and tired of the bullshit, and 100% getting sick and tired of the bullshit. So they're starting to pick a side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm getting tired of it on both sides. You mentioned Bill Maher, and I think the one thing he's getting sick of was or sick of is the Democrats not calling out the fucking nonsense that has been. I mean, they pick these causes, and it's just all in, whether it's statue removal or it's who plays what sports or who goes to what bathrooms, and they get so caught up in these things, and it's just like they forget about the rest of America. And same thing here. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing stuff on my side, on our, of just we just need to call out some of this just nonsense. What was that? Talk about religion, politics. Yeah.
Yeah, and exactly. And it's now what you have is, instead of families not talking about religion or politics, now families just don't show up, or they don't invite family.
Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't about a left and right. It's about a rich versus poor, and we're all poor compared to those playing against each other. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think that the folks who are really the elite, who have the money. Listen, the more, really, it's not even about money. A lot of these political folks, it's all about power. It's like, why does such and such get into politics? They're rich, they're loaded, they're billionaires, they're millionaires, whatever. It's like, well, who in the hell? It's all about power. It's always about spending other people's money. It's always about influence, and it's always about power, and that is far greater than money itself. So, the more they can cause friction amongst us average citizens, the more they can position themselves and give themselves more power. And the problem is that if there would be the red pill, blue pill moment, right? If the majority of the people, were to take the pill to freaking get the reality check, a lot of these people who are a lot of these folks in politics would be out of a job.
Yeah.
Really.
Until it's two things that have to happen. And no trading in stocks and term limits. That's
100%.
that's two big things. I think we'll see the no trading of stocks. I think we might see that this year. Like, there is a big push for that right now.
It's objectively obvious. I mean, it's anybody. If you follow and you look and you see these folks who are in Congress, who are in politics, and their decisions that they're making, they're getting rich. Politics was never supposed to be set up as a career. It was an honor to serve in politics for your country, and the majority of the folks who served, who held political roles, political positions, for what, the first 100 years or 50 years, they come out broke.
Yeah. I mean, we had to set up like retirement for our for the presidency, because I forget which like the second or third, fourth, whatever it is, like destitute,
Yeah,
left away, didn't have anything, like
yeah.
didn't have his house, didn't have his farm, what, I don't know if it went back that far, but yeah, that's how we had to set up to take care of our president, because they came out broke. There was no speaking fees.
No, most of these folks are going in. They're like, oh, their net worth is $300,000. They come out of the White House. It's like, oh, they get, these folks who are, 18 million term limits. You got Schumer,
Yeah.
Pelosi. You got the guy
Maxine Waters that they just keep propping up like a scarecrow.
Maxine Water. Who's the guy down here who looks like Tippy the Turtle? The guy who literally had like a stroke. He's a Republican down here.
Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell. These guys are in office for so damn long, and guess what happens when they retire?
Yeah, they get board seats.
Not only that,
yeah.
But do you think they just walk away and they get paid a severance? No.
Yeah, no.
They get paid for the rest of their lives and get benefits.
Yeah, you only got to serve 4 years.
Yeah,
and not get kicked out. If you get kicked out or you lose lose an election, I think you get less. But if you just retire and say you're not going to run again, I think you get full retirement and medical for life. If I remember that correctly.
It is. It's something like that. But you get medical and it is now a career, and a lot of folks are catching on and going, listen, I go into politics, move up the ladder. I make some connections here and there. I leave. I got full bennies when I leave, and I probably could sit on boards and get jobs here and there. And it's, I think, to Tony's point, it's, the average citizen, the average person, really doesn't give a flying fuck about what you're doing, what you believe, what you think. They will go on with their lives with not a care in the world at all. And the average citizen really, is unaware, of a lot of what's going on, because they always want to. But as these people in power, when they start painting pictures of saying, the conservatives are right, they hate you, they want to take this away, and then the left comes in and goes, you know what? Or the Republicans come in, the right, and they go, you know what the left want to do? They want to take this away, and they're trying to change this, and they start getting everybody so worked up and riled up, and that's really what keeps this fire burning. And if everybody just for a week gave zero fucks, turned off their television set, picked up the phone, called their family member who they have opposing opinions to, and have dinner, and just not pay any attention to this shit, it'd be really interesting to see what the byproduct of that would be.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer that 90% of this country is filled with good, hardworking people. Me, you, everybody in the chat panel tonight, the people that we meet on the street, our coworkers, we're just everyday average people trying to do, make a living, do the best we can for our kids and our family, pay our bill, pay our taxes, and we don't care what you want to call yourself. We really don't care what bathroom you use, to a certain degree. We don't care all much about sports. We just want to live our lives and retire with a little bit of money in the bank, so we don't have to work until we're 90. And it's the 10%, the 10% that tells me that statue is bad. We've got to take that statue down, and we got to rename this military base. And we have to do this and we have to do that. And then that's the 10% that gets on the news because they're exciting. People like me and you on the news, we're boring. Nobody wants to talk to those, old white guys. What the fuck do they got to say? They don't have crazy in them. Let's go talk to the crazy people. They make better 5 o'clock news.
Of course. I mean, it's the old adage, if it bleeds, it leads. That was the news.
Yeah.
I mean, how in the hell would a news organization stay open if they were like, okay, and tonight's news, it's been really sunny today. It's beautiful. And, there's some really, a little gathering where people are hanging out and, throwing Frisbee and there's no accidents today. That was really cool. And gosh, we had a whole bunch of people get together and go to church. No, and even if there was one little thing that happened, that would be the leading news. Boom, boom, boom. You know, man curses that other person. You know, news at 11.
Yeah, I mean, Walter Cronkite used to get on and say, hey, he was, President Trump met with President Putin today in Alaska, and they talked about this, and this, and and then that was it. Like, that was your job now to decide, what was, not like, oh, hey, President Putin, you see this point right here where President Putin crosses his legs. That means he's not receptive to what Donald Trump is saying. You see his pursed lips right there. And it's just, they're telling us what to think. At least Walter Cronkite, for the most, from what I remember, I mean, of the clips I've seen, all the old news, like they would report the news, and then that was it. Now there was things I know the government did back then, CIA, FBI. There were things you weren't allowed to talk about. Some weird stuff going on in the White House. Hey, Walter, you're not talking about this. And it's like it is what it is. But
news, Walt. Stick to the news, Walt. But it's funny you said, because I mean, we don't have news anymore.
No, we don't.
It's all like in the newspaper, right? Op-ed, right?
Yeah,
it's an opinion piece.
Yeah. People forget that what op means. People don't know what op. Like I've literally myself with my ears have told people, like, that's opinion. That's not what that stands for. What do you think it stands for? Yeah. I mean, do you think that that's news? Like, that's op. Yeah. Is short for opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Everyone always thinks it was, opposite. I looked it up as opposite the editorial page, which, is op-ed, but it was always an opinion piece.
Yeah.
It was always an opinion piece. And that's what these news organizations are now. There are these shows. It's all that. They're shows. They're shows. And, they're not going to, even the sections of CNN, MSNBC, Fox, the news at 11 or the news at 5, that is supposed to be the news, they're still marbling in their own opinions. They're still marbling in their own thing. And, it's like, listen, I honestly, I used to, I mean, you can't even see it now. And even in sports now, ESPN, get over it, dude. It's fucking sports, bro.
It's
sports.
What's his name? The
Keith
guy
Olbermann?
that not Keith Olbermann.
He used to be so funny. Oh, God, was so funny.
Yeah, he did some great commercials.
Dan Patrick?
No, the new guy, the black guy, and he has his own podcast as well, and he really dives into politics. What is his name? It's not Sharp. What is his?
Is it an ESPN guy?
Yeah, an ESPN guy. Let's see, Stephen A. Smith.
And just
yeah, Stephen. And I like that. And I'm Tony, Stephen A. Smith. I was like, I had to Google black guy ESPN. That's just what I had to Google, and Stephen A. Smith came up. So I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah, he gets. I mean, not on. I mean, and a little bit on ESPN sometimes. You don't see it too much, but it's like that's like the first. He's really got to be the first that plays both fields. And sometimes I don't like watching him on ESPN because I've seen some of the arguments that I don't agree with. Now, there are things that he says I completely agree with. And it's just like, I don't know. Then I have a hard time watching him on ESPN. I'm like, oh, that's the guy that said, I'm like, I don't just play me.
I like Stephen A. Smith. I've always liked Stephen A. Smith. Even when people just disliked him and they used to bitch and complain about how he's a loudmouth, because he was always on with who's the guy who was on with oh God Almighty, this is gonna bother the shit out of me.
That was who got canceled? Yeah, who was the I can't remember the guy.
He was such oh God who was that guy?
Yeah, they just split up like last year, wasn't it? Or
Yeah, and I think
um,
wasn't someone else was on there with them. This is terrible, isn't it?
yeah,
Um,
like nobody wants to be on with him.
well, the guy he's a jackass in my opinion. I think he's Skip Bayless. That's it.
Skip.
Skip Bayless. What a jackass! Just
Yeah,
a jackass. I mean, just just in my just horrible. He says some of the dumbest shit. He says some of the dumbest sports related shit that just blows my mind. And I think you know Stephen A. Smith
yeah,
just
yeah.
got sick and tired of
But
it.
yeah, talks about things he doesn't understand. That's what gets me sometimes about Stephen A. Smith.
I
Is like
remember that.
sometimes he'll dive into a topic, and I'm like, do you really understand like what you're talking? It just doesn't seem like. But whatever, it is what it is.
But
Just play,
that was their own fault. And here's why: if you're going to have someone who's going to be a sports commentator, either have someone who was a former athlete in that
yes,
sport, or they understand or are heavily into that sport. You take a guy like that and you plug him into a sport that they know very little about. They're going to give you what their opinion is. And if
yeah,
they don't know enough about it, they be like, sometimes when you watch MMA, you don't realize what's going on. But if you have someone who does understand it, they're like, oh my gosh, look, you see what he's doing right now? And I'm like, yeah, it looks like he's taking a break. No, he's preparing to do this and move into this position. And if you don't understand it, then
yeah,
don't do that. I think they set people up for failure like that when they put them in as roles. And
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith should have been nowhere near an MMA fight.
That's it. They don't have Kirk Herbstreit, in basketball. There's a reason why he sticks to football. He's real fucking good. What was the old like the old ESPN, the guy that he was on all the time, talk about
Chris
every
Berman?
not Chris Berman was great. Chris Berman knew about every, and I think let's go back to the 60s, of sports announcers.
Howard Cosell?
Howard Cosell.
Yeah.
Yeah, Howard Cosell was another great one.
Yeah, Howard. I was at, you had Howard Cosell. You had Madden and what was his name? Pat Summerall.
Pat Summerall. Oh my God, Pat Summerall was great. But like I said, Chris Boomer.
Chris Berman and Tom Jackson. I'll tell you what, that was
great.
When I was in college, man, the best thing in the world was sitting around, and Sundays were the best. Like if they say, can you go back to a time in your life? It'd be like 1991.
Yeah.
Sunday afternoon watching football, and then afterwards, everyone waited for Sports Center at the end to listen to Berman and Tom Jackson give a play-by-play for each game. They would give the highlights, fumbling, bumbling, rumbling.
Yeah.
Just
Al Michaels was the one I was thinking of.
Al Michaels too, yeah. But listen to Chris Berman and Tom Jackson do their show at the end and go through all the games, and then at the end we'd watch America's Funniest Home Videos. Then we'd watch The Simpsons. And then we watched Married with Children. It was like Sunday was such a beautiful time.
It was. But,
those guys were freaking the best.
Just the like the things they say, like the bumbling, stumbling, and of like boom, just he would just throw that out there, and it's just
and
someone got
things. I remember the Eagles. The Eagles had a guy. His name was Viajante Kahima, and Viajante Kahima ran back like a punt, and he's the box, so he started boxing, the goalpost, and he's like, and I said Viajante Kahima, it's a left, it's a right, he's got him, and just play by play, just go through the whole thing, and then you got into Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann, who were just as good. Those guys were great. They were hilarious. I mean, some of the stuff they come up with.
Like I said, they had the greatest Sports Center commercials.
Oh my God, yeah,
the best commercials.
Yeah, I remember that one of my favorite lines, I still use it today, is they were said ESPNU, and they were like, "Yeah, I have a dumb question, or I have a stupid question," and Oberman or someone's like, "There are no stupid questions, just stupid people asking questions."
My favorite Sports Center commercial, and it just came up on my feed the other day, and it was I forget who it was, waiting for the elevator, presses the button, it opens up, and there's the Jersey Devil in there, and then the guy's like going up, and he just shook his head no, and he just steps away, lets the door close. That was, but none of those guys got into politics. We didn't hear about, they didn't hear, anything about, what we didn't know what their opinions were. We didn't know if they were Democrat, they didn't independent.
Well, everybody didn't have a Twitter,
a Republican
either. You didn't have Twitter, you didn't have Facebook, you didn't have all that shit.
Yeah.
And now everybody who has, listen, I blame the real world. Everybody thinks, that their life, and we're guilty of it too. Everyone has their own personal little reality television show. But back then they didn't have that stuff. It's like you said. I mean, it's kind of funny. Is one of the commercials that popped up on my news feed was, God rest his soul, is Steve Irwin, when he's talking, he's like, and then the freaking the Florida Gator came out,
comes out, and then the Florida Gator like gets on top of him, and he's like, little help, and it's like
no,
he's like, crikey, that was fucking great.
Oh my God, they had some of the best.
And it was that's just, sports were sports, and we had bad national anthems every now and then, and Roseanne, going back to her, probably had one of the worst. But that was her doing her best. She got called out for that, but she's like, they asked me to sing. I'm like, I'm not a singer. They asked me to sing the comedian. Yeah. They asked me to sing the national anthem, so I flubbed it. Like, it is what it is.
And she goes, I grab my crotch because that's what baseball players do, and I spit because that's what they do.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man! Talk about sports. There was some great football this weekend. Again, I don't think anything that was earth shattering in the college world, outside of the fact that Clemson is now being exposed for the overrated school that they are, since they lost to Syracuse. No offense, go Orangemen. But the NFL,
same with Michigan though. Michigan, like, they got they should have beat Indiana, or not Indiana, who the Cornhuskers, Nebraska. The way Michigan was, as bad as Nebraska was playing, that game they should have racked up 75 points on Nebraska, and that score came down to 3 points at the end. And Michigan still moved up. Like that was an embarrassment of a game.
Yeah, Tony. When Reagan was shot, everyone was finding out what political side the shooter was on.
Yeah. What?
It's funny. I can't remember who said it. This is a while back. They said, whenever there's an event that happens, he's like, you always kind of hold your breath and think, I hope it wasn't from our side. I hope it wasn't from our side. I can't remember if it was Bill Maher or somebody said that. And unfortunately, that's the reality of it. And I do believe that one of the biggest issues that we face, that no one wants to address, is the mental health issue. The mental health problem in this country is bad, and I think that, unfortunately, in many ways, it's being normalized. And I think when you normalize mental health, you have things the way they are. Instead of calling it out for what it is, it's someone else's truth. It's who they are. It's how they are. And it's like, no, it's a little fucked up. It's be that as it may, it still doesn't make it right. But it pulled me off my football conversation, because I had to bring up a specific game this weekend. So I'm a Rams fan. I've been a Rams fan since John Capoletti, which, again, I don't like Penn State, but he was a Penn State football player. He's the only Heisman Trophy winner at Penn State. And I watched the movie Something for Joey. Great movie.
Really? He's the only Heisman at Penn State?
Only one. Yep. And if you ever go on YouTube and look at his Heisman Trophy speech, speech, Heisman Trophy winning speech, best ever you're ever going to see. Watch it; it's fantastic. But nonetheless, so I've been a Rams fan for a while, and my dad's an Eagles fan. So I grew up, I watched the Eagles. So I kind of was like, Eagles are second in my list. If the Eagles are playing, I root for them. But every year when the Rams played the Eagles, it was always that time of year for me and my dad to kind of go at each other a little bit.
Yeah.
Every year. My brother's a Redskins fan, and every time the Rams play the Redskins, he would place a bet. And God rest your soul, Tony, I think he probably owes me about 500 cases of beer at this point because he's lost so much.
How did he become a Washington fan?
Where we grew up, we were in a really weird spot because we were about an hour and a half from Philly.
Yeah.
Back in the 70s, everybody was so many Steelers and Cowboys fans. They just kind of played all over. But we were an hour and a half from Philly, an hour and a half from Baltimore, and an hour and a half, 2 hours from Washington. So we actually had in our area a big Colts and Redskin fan base, as well as an Eagles fan base and a Steelers fan base. Where we grew up. And you even got some New York teams because they were only a couple hours, up the highway a piece. But that's how he got to be a Redskins fan. He's a Cincinnati Reds fan. He's just like George Foster. He's just a weird guy, but that's my brother. But but my dad and I, every year during this time, it was a Rams Eagles. So this year I'm like, okay, first year without Dad, I'm gonna have to. I'm torn. Dad, I can't sit there because what I would do is, I would call him during the game. And he always liked watching the game uninterrupted. I'd call him and it would piss him off. That's what I would do.
Go Fins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd call my dad during the Eagles-Rams game, especially if the Rams were winning or something's going on. I'd just do something to piss him off. Or I'd call it, be like, boy, that referee really blew that freaking call, Dad. What? They're in Philadelphia. Oh, well, you get some cheesesteaks and some hoagies. And then he'd get pissed off and hang up on me, right? So, but this year I couldn't watch it because it was blacked out. But I was watching it on my phone. I was telling you this earlier. So I was like, the Rams, I think, were down by like 2 points, right? So I'm watching the ticker on Yahoo. And the Rams have the ball. There's like 7 seconds left in the game. The little indicator balls on the Rams. I see where they are, on the little freaking football field. and I see that, I'm like, okay, they're gonna kick a field goal or win the fucking game, right? So it's just flashing. So I turn on I turn on ESPN or NFL primetime, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta catch it here. I still could catch it here. This is primetime. They rotate through. These assholes spend so much time on the fucking Browns game, a wrap up, like a highlight to the Browns game, and I'm sitting there going, dude, it's Flacco did it. I'm like, I don't. It's the Browns, the Eagles, and outside of the Eagles playing the Chiefs game, the Eagles-Rams game was second biggest game because they beat the Rams to go to the Super Bowl. It's a matchup. They both were undefeated. And then as they turned it on, they're like, and here's what happened. And then my freaking screen finally refreshed. And I think my dad zoomed in and blocked that effing field goal or the field goal. And not only did they block the field goal, which secured the game, they picked the ball up and ran it all the way back for a touchdown, which added insult to injury. And then I just looked at the phone, I looked at the TV, and I was like, all right, Dad, you got that one, man. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one, brother.
Cut the shit out next time.
Yeah. They really did. You just couldn't be satisfied with a block punt, a block kick. You had to go ahead and run it back.
and have them run all the way back. Just answer. Yes, I have tried the new 2025 banger of a stick. Look forward to the Los Calaveras line every single year.
Yeah, good stuff.
Smoke on a full strength Oliva. I didn't think Oliva had a full strength cigar. Full strengths have me a little bit of chocolate. That's all you need. A little piece of chocolate, make that all go away.
Right. Handful of M&M's would be good.
Kevin's like, no cigars even affect me. There's some cigars, that I have to be careful of. Last night I smoked the new El Pulpo Squid by Viva La Vida. I know it's a strong cigar. I just prepared for it. Had a full heavy meal, had a nice beverage, smoked it super slow. That cigar that would normally take me an hour and 15 minutes to smoke, I stretched it out to like a full 2 hours, and I was good. So you just got to know that cigar.
I'm pretty good. I mean, it's rare that a cigar will catch me off guard.
It is. It within the first 5 minutes, actually probably not even. I would say in the first 2 minutes, I kind of know if a cigar, what it's going to be like. I think everybody has that tell. Like for me, it's that scratchy back of the throat. Some people say that that's the ammonia. For me, that's like how nicotine affects me. So when I feel that, like in the first couple puffs, minute or two, I'm like, ooh, I think this cigar's got a little in it, and I just take my time. But
the ammonia is when it tastes like fucking ammonia.
Ammonia.
Ammonia. It's not the scratchiness in the back of your throat.
Yeah, people say that. Oh, it makes your throat raw. I'm like, no, you can taste ammonia.
It's ammonia.
When a cigar is fresh, you smell it, and then as soon as you light it up, it's like, I'm gonna put this down.
It goes right to my head. I had one. It was a Viaje Christmas special, and this was years ago. I picked it up when I was up in Maryland, and I lit it up. I sat out back, and I took a draw, and I was like, oh my God, I never had this happen before. I was like, God dang. I took another hit from it, and it went right to my head, instant lightheaded, instant freaking stomach, just freaking off-putting. I think I ended up taking 3 draws off it. I put it down. I went in the house, and I laid down, and I had to take about an hour nap because it was that strong. The ammonia was that strong, and it hit me that hard that quickly. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, if a cigar's not good, here's 2 I smoked today. I got less than 5 minutes in to eat both of these cigars, and I just put them out. I'm like, these cigars are disgusting. It's not that they weren't, they were strong or anything. They were just, they were just young. It wasn't the ammonia on those. It was just young tobacco,
it's got an ammonia twang because sometimes some blends will take a strip of unfermented tobacco and put it in the middle to give it some strength, to give it a little bit of power and oomph to it. And I usually will pick up on them midway through. Up front, I can't tell. I'll get about midway through the cigar, and when I start tasting ammonia, I'm like, motherfuckers, there is some unfermented tobacco in here, and in my opinion, it's because I've seen it, I've talked to people and heard it. It's deliberate to ump up the power on the second half of the cigar. The first half is good, solid, great flavor. You want to hear, hey, it picks up with flavor and spice and power. And there's a lot of times I will set that cigar down when I start feeling like, because I know what's going to happen. It's going to be gross and shitty because my palate doesn't taste power. It doesn't taste the flavor. It tastes ammonia, and there is nothing inviting or pleasurable about an ammonia flavor at all. But
I was thinking of the Outcast cigar. I got the bag over there, but when I was taking the tour of the JC Newman, when you take the tour of JC Newman, the cigar factory, they didn't do it last time, so I don't know if it's on every tour, but they have where the tobacco gets chopped, because it comes in as whole leaves. And then it goes into like this giant room, like one of many rooms, and it just falls from the ceiling, gets piled up 20, 30 feet tall. And that's where they'll age it. But the ammonia, they crack the doors and they're like, There aren't a lot of
Yeah.
people that can walk. Not a lot of people can walk inside. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, I got, so they open up the doors. I stick my head in. I'm like, oh, I can kind of smell it, and I walked right up and if I didn't back, they'd probably had to carry me out of there if I didn't back up real fast. So that ammonia, that was a lot of ammonia. But cigar, yeah. Did we talk about this before? I don't know. I don't think they only sent me 2, so I don't think I sent you any. I was reading, it was made by Miami Cigar. We didn't get over to their booth at PCA, but I smoked one of those cigars and it had like a flavored tip and nobody could figure out what was going on the inside of this cigar. And I don't know if they were hiding it, but Charlie Minata, or actually Half Wheel, I think it was Charlie that wrote the article today, but it was Half Wheel. They're kind of hiding the fact that they use Black Cavendish pipe tobacco in the cigar. Yeah, they weren't. There was just dare to be different. Like one bringing up the same thing. A lot of people bring up, but yeah, I found that I'm like I don't know why they just didn't advertise that. I thought that was strange. They weren't advertising it was a sweetened cap. Didn't advertise it had pipe tobacco. So I don't know. I think it's going to rub some people the wrong way. So, hiding that on me. But I just thought about that when you were talking about whatever.
Yeah. No, we Jennifer and I went out west for a few days.
Yeah, I had that on my notes. Carrie's vacation.
So yeah, it was a good time. Jennifer surprised me with a trip out to Yellowstone. So
God, you guys had a short trip though. Oh.
It was short. But so we flew into Billings, Montana, rented a pickup truck, rented a F-150, the full, what do they call it? Not the extended cab, the dual cab.
Yeah, full cab, dual cab, quad cab. Yeah.
Which was the best decision when you're in Montana. Let's kind of do that, right? But drove down to see Stogie's, the home of Big Sky.
Yeah, is that what it's called? Stogie's?
Stogie's, yeah. Can't smoke inside the place, but they had a great selection. I cannot remember her name, but Brandon's partner's mother was working there, and just super sweet lady.
Brandon's business partner.
Yeah, Brandon's business partner, mother.
That name partner.
I don't know, man. That's what I was told, dude. I'm just reporting the news, man.
Did they have a nice area outside seating, or
no, we can't smoke. So
you just can't.
Can't smoke. Really? No. But she was like, "Here's the name of a cigar location where you can smoke outside." I guess
in Montana, Kerr.
Dude,
Montana.
I would have never guessed it. But the humidor was great. Great selection of cigars. And we picked up the Cattle Baron cigars. We picked up these cigars. We picked up a bunch of Big Sky. And then we drove an hour to Cody, Wyoming.
Okay.
Buffalo Bill Cody, or Wild Bill, not Buffalo Bill, Wild Bill Cody. And stayed at the hotel that named after his daughter. And God Almighty, it's beautiful. No reception, so you don't have to worry about blowing up your phone. That was freaking great too.
Yeah.
So we get there and we're like, Jennifer's like, well, I know that there's a cigar lounge around here, but we looked at it, we're like, it only opens up at 7:00. I'm like, oh, there's smoker friendly. Now you've been to a smoker friendly, right?
Yeah, just one, yeah. Fairly small. Yeah, the one I went is fairly small lounge.
Smoker friendly. Any smoker friendly I've ever been in, it's usually tobacco grab and go. And have most times they may have either some cigars on the wall, or they have a small humidor, right? Yeah,
like the fresh packs. You have
a lot fresh packs. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we roll into smoker friendly. It is not even a block from where we're staying, and fucking ridiculous humidor.
Oh, you never showed me pictures of the humidor. You showed me pictures of the lounge.
Yeah. And then I was like, they got a lounge. The freaking lounge. Wow. Huge. 2 big screen TVs, 2 seating areas, a dominoes table, and then when you went in the back, there was a freaking pool table and a
Yeah.
coffee maker. And I'm like, this is smoker friendly, smoker. So great selection of cigars. We found the TAA, the Tatuajes TAA from 2023. They still had 2 boxes in there. Big Sky. We had what was the one picture I sent you guys? That Jennifer really liked it. I gotta look at the name of that cigar. But we had a really, really. I mean, we were in there a lot, and as we were outside smoking, people would come by. Not once was there. You know how the fake smoke,
Yeah.
just make the fake coughing when they're walking by. We had people come by and go, "Hey, that smells good. Where'd you get that?" At least probably half a dozen people. So I think that we probably sent about a half a dozen people into Smoker Friendly and drummed up some business for them. But just such a great location. But you came up in a conversation several times. Of course, Kevin always comes up.
Yeah.
But we're at Yellowstone, right? So the time we were there, we probably spent 8 hours, the one full day at Yellowstone, and probably saw about 3%, right, of this freaking ridiculously huge place.
Oh yeah, imagine.
So 2 things. One, I told Jennifer, you're not getting out. You're not getting close to animals. I'm not going to come back alone and have people question why I came back alone. Anybody who knows you knows that you did something stupid, but the authorities will always blame me.
Oh yeah.
Artista cigar. Yeah, that's what it
Yeah.
was. So we're driving down through, and all of a sudden she's like, it's a freaking bison walking alongside of the road, like from here away. And this guy's limping. So we turn around, pull up. Jen goes, "Can I get out and take a selfie?" I go, "No.
Please. Let me set my phone up first, because I swear to God, I'm live streaming it because you'll never let me put it on Facebook afterwards. So I'm going to live stream this.
I swear to all that is holy. I was like, we had this conversation several times, Jennifer. She's like, but look at him. He's so cute. I'm like, there's a reason why there's T-shirts that says "Don't pet the fluffy cows." Like, no.
Yeah.
So we took a picture. We got a picture in a little video of a bear eating a freaking dead elk. We got black bears. God, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But we pull in, and Jennifer's like, "Let's go in here. We want to check out the sulfur cauldrons of Yellowstone." So I don't know if you've ever seen these before, but
is it the ones that all the different colors and everything else, or
ridiculously beautiful?
Okay.
I mean, you pull in, and they are our pictures don't do justice. They are aqua blue, clear, crystal clear water. They're like, some of them go freaking 60 meters down, bubbling up. Then there's others that are just mud and puddling up. And they're like, they are highly acidic. They're boiling, so it's over 200 degrees. As the steam's coming up and blowing on you, you can feel the heat and smell the sulfur. And they're like, if you walk in there, you will die instantly.
Yeah. There's people that they just found a guy's shoe, in one of them.
Yeah.
Like that's, but it still had the foot in it.
And Jen's like, I just want to dip my finger in there. I know Kevin would want to too. I go, you and Kevin are both dumb. Don't press the red button. I'm like, Jen, she's like, but if you just dipped it in real quick and out, I just want to see what happened. I said, you'd be fingerless.
Yeah, I don't want to get 20 feet from it, 30 feet from it. I've seen what happens. Then I've heard the stories of the people trying to get the selfies, and then they slip, and then they fall in, and they get 3rd-degree burns all over their fucking bodies.
That's if you can get in and get out quickly, because they have boardwalks that kind of that go around
it. Yeah.
And it's just crazy. And I'm looking at her going, what would possess you to even want to think about putting your finger in there? That is, they said, well, hey, did you hear about a couple of years ago someone's dog got loose and went and jumped in, and it was horrific death. I'm like, yeah, it's being boiled alive in
Yeah.
sulfuric water. Of course. And you know what they're going to get? They're not going to get a carcass because that water is so acidic and it's so freaking just corrosive. It eats bones.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, like the guy with his, I mean, that they couldn't, that's all they found. They found no other part of his body. It was just, that was the only thing on shore. Like
Yeah.
that was just out of the water. And it was like severed off at the, or eaten away at the ankle. And there was just a foot inside of his shoe.
Yeah.
And that's all they found. They had to do DNA test to find this guy.
And what's
So, yeah.
so crazy about it is that it's so beautiful and all the runoff is orange, burnt orange, yellows, maize, just bright reds. It's lovely. And I'm like, you know what? You think about this. Think about the pioneers. You're zipping down through with your family in your little covered wagon, and you pull up and you see freaking these beautiful, freaking clear, freaking pools of water with steam coming off it, and your kid's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna hop in some warm water." Well, that part of your lineage is gone. I could imagine some of the stuff that these pioneers you learn obviously the hard way. But I was talking to a colleague of mine today. They said, yeah, they have. She lived in New Zealand. She's like, yeah, they have them there, and they talk about some of the natives would just literally take pots and place it near there, and it would freaking heat up food. That's how freaking hot it is.
Yeah.
But we spent some time at that location, and it was just so breathtaking and incredibly beautiful. We were at Lake Butte, which is so huge and incredible. We went to the Yellowstone Grand Canyon and probably saw another 5% of that, which was ridiculously breathtaking. Just every place we went to, every place. I mean, we spent 8 hours driving through. We went to Eastgate. Just incredible beauty, just breathtaking scenery, and at the end of an 8-hour day, it was like I wish we would have had like a camper, because what we did then at night, that night, was you go about 2 miles outside of the city, you don't have light pollution. It's pitch black.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Pitch black. Pictures of the night sky is just ridiculously clear and gorgeous. I sent you guys some of those pictures. It doesn't even look like it's nighttime.
Yeah.
Just very peaceful, very relaxing, and a great trip. Now, our trip home sucked because we got to the airport, and we were flying out of Billings, which the airport is very, very small. So we're sitting there, I'm having a drink and whatever. And we're like, okay, we're going to go down. And they're like, oh, the flight's here. And we had a connector in Dallas. And they're like, oh, maintenance, we got to reset the plane. It may or may not take, we're not really sure how long it's going to take. And they come back on, well, we had to get maintenance, so it's going to be a while. So now we know that we're probably going to miss our connector in Dallas, right?
Yeah.
So instead of going up to the ticket booth, the ticket agent, and talking to them about it, I get an email from American Airlines that they've automatically rescheduled our flight. They put us on a flight leaving Dallas at 8 in the morning, right? 7 in the morning, next day. Now, we were able to pay some extra money and get first class for our flight from Billings to Dallas and Dallas to Greenville. Well, first class was booked up, so now they got us back in the cabin and didn't even put our seats together. So now we had to go in and get seating at an exit, pay $38 extra to get that seating for extra leg room. Now they're giving out food vouchers and hotel vouchers, at the time. So they gave us the $12 food vouchers, Jennifer and I.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
that was 2 beers and a basket of tater tots, right? Thanks, guys. So they had a new guy there, and he's giving out vouchers, and it's late, right? It's fucking late. Um, he he gives out a voucher, and we flew into Dallas, right? So he's giving out vouchers. So we fly in from Billings to Dallas several hours later, um, and it's dark. So we land in Dallas. It's dark. We go down. We're supposed to be staying at a loft. So they have the number for the shuttle. So we go down and it's like dark as hell, where the shuttle area is. And we call the shuttle, it's ringing, it's ringing, it's ringing. It's not, no one's answering. It's 11 o'clock at night. We're fucking tired. We're just sick of everything. So we get a taxi. We show up. Didn't this moron give vouchers to everybody for a loft? We show up, there's 30 people in line with one worker. So we're standing there. After about 5 or 10 minutes, I'm like, we're gonna be here all night. Like, I could sleep on the couch right there, and we're probably not gonna get a room till probably 1 or 2 in the morning because of this line and how slow it was going. So we walked. We found there was a Marriott. We walked maybe about 50 yards over to Marriott. Had to pay for a room. Next morning, we had to get a taxi. We had to get an Uber. Got to the airport. Got in. Everything was fine. Got in the flight. The flight was fine. The flight was safe. Everything else. But now I'm putting together all my receipts. I'm putting together all my complaints to American because, we got, we paid for first class tickets, but we got freaking sat in the back. So I want that reimbursed. I want reimbursed for the $38 per seat that I had to pay to move our seats because they freaking sat us separately. Hotel, food and travel, taxi and Uber, we're out several $100s, because of this. And again, we got home yesterday. We were supposed to be home Saturday. We got home yesterday, late morning. We got time to relax and unpack and unwind a little bit, which was nice. We were home safe. I was happy about it. But that 36 hours is just a big pain in the ass.
Oh yeah, that's why I fly Delta. Wouldn't have happened on Delta. Delta, not on their watch. I only had to stay
Not on their watch.
no Delta, and as a especially as a platinum Sky Miles member. Oh, I'd have been on that phone right fucking away, and yeah. But I did have to sleep in the airport once. The same thing. It was a late flight. Things got shit. Got in Atlanta. Coming home. Plane broke down. Same thing. It was going to be like 5 in the morning or something. 6 in the morning. We were going to fly out, and I'm like, I'm not catching a shuttle or something to go to an airport 30 minutes away. Then it's 30 minutes back. You got to be at the airport. Back then, it was like a full 2 hours, especially in Atlanta. And I'm like, everybody's like pissed, and I brought all my stuff. Found a corner, went to where the plane was going to be, and just packed myself a little bed and slept right on the floor. And then I woke up like an hour or so later, and because I heard some noise, and like everybody else, same thing. Like we all just slept right on the floor or something because you can't sleep in the fucking chairs because the armrests don't fucking go up.
They're so ridiculous.
And so just spread out my because I was coming back from Philly, so my big coat is a blanket. My backpack is a pillow, and I'll just sleep on the flour.
I did that. I think I was traveling years ago. We were flying out of I can't remember how we were leaving. It was somewhere in Texas, and the flights were all jacked up, so we had to fly up to I think it was Minnesota, and we landed there, and it was like this ridiculously long layover, and I was like, screw it, I'm sleeping right here. Wake me up before you go because I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to get a room. I'm not going to leave. A lot of people were leaving the airport. They're like, well, shit, I'm going to go. I'm going to check out the town, maybe go grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink, come back. I was like, no, I'm tired. I got no sleep last night. Like you said, by the time we found out that our flight was canceled, it was like, I got to be back here 3 or 4 hours later, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And now, this is back when, I was really young and didn't have any money. But now if I got stuck in Atlanta, I'm like, where's your rental car office? Yeah, I'll just drive home. If it's
We
11
actually
o'clock
looked
at
at that
night.
at Dallas.
Yeah. Yeah.
At Dallas, we were like, if we land in
Uh,
Dallas, how far is Dallas? 12 hours? 13 hours, whatever. I could do that. I've been in Chicago. I flew up to Chicago for some oncology convention, and I was heading to the airport, and Jennifer calls me, and she's like, "Your flight's delayed. Bad windstorms." I'm like, "All right." And flying in and out of Chicago is always a pain in the ass. I mean, I've had nothing but bad luck. And I was like, "All right." So I'm getting closer. She's like, "Your flight's canceled." I'm like, "Okay. When's the next flight?" "I don't know, but it doesn't look like it's going to be till like the evening the next day."
uh,
So it's probably about 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the flight wasn't leaving till like 7 o'clock. It's on a Sunday. This is Saturday. There's this major international oncology convention going on. There's a big art festival and a music festival going on. So Jennifer's trying to find me a hotel room. She's like, "There's a hotel that's got 3 rooms. They're for like $600 a night." Now
oh,
this now
God.
now now this is all going to be covered by my company, right?
Okay. Okay.
So I'm like, "What about a rental car?" She's like, $200 one way. So I called my manager. I said, "Here's the deal. You can either pay for a $600 room, transportation to and from, probably several meals since I'm going to be freaking out tonight and all day tomorrow." I said, "It's going to cost well over $1,000." I said, "Or you can approve a $200 rental." She goes, "Okay, no problem." So I got to the airport, got the rental car, got in the car, drove straight home. I got home at like 2 in the morning, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was anymore. It was early in the morning. Went to bed, woke up the next day, and my flight that I would have been on got in because there was delays, got in 11:30 at night that
Uh,
Sunday. So I told her, I'm like, "Listen, I can spend the whole day in Chicago and eat it up and drink it up, and I'll submit everything. But the hotels, that food, everything else down there," I said, "it's going to be well over $1,000. I'd rather do $200 and just drive straight through the night and freaking get home when safely."
yeah. That's a benefit of living like in South Carolina where you're at. In Florida, it sucks because it takes us 5 to 6 hours to get out of Florida. So
Hmm.
anywhere where we drive, like you can go, if it's 12 hours for you, it's 18 hours for me.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. It's like getting to Florida and it's like, oh God, I got like 3 states to drive through, so that's what,
Hmm.
But yeah, but that's why I Delta hub and spoke. It's a flawless system. Plane breaks down, everywhere is a shot. Everywhere is a layover in Atlanta. They just move. They just say, "Hey, plane broke down. Go to gate 21C now. We got an empty one, and we'll just keep moving this shit around all day long." I love the hub and spoke. I pay
Yeah.
more for Delta, but Delta
No,
cares. Yeah,
there's certain airports. I remember flying out of Philly, and it was the same thing. It was like they didn't have pilots. So
yeah,
I'm sitting there at a bar, supposed to fly out at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm looking down at all the gates, and there's planes at each gate. I didn't get out of there till 11 o'clock at night.
yeah.
I was like, "God dang!" But yeah, the flight there was great. Um, we actually flew out of Greenville. Usually, we can find flights out of Charlotte because I'll drive an hour and 15 minutes up to Charlotte Airport and get
Yeah, it's
direct flights.
same for us.
No
Tampa's an
problem.
hour and 15 minutes, so we have
Yeah.
no problem driving up to Tampa to
But
get a flight.
Greenville's growing, and that we're getting more and more flights directly out of Greenville, and coming into Greenville. But there was no direct flights from Charlotte into Billings, Montana. So there was going to be a layover somewhere. So I'd rather drive 15, 20 minutes, and if I'm going to have a connector somewhere and fly out of Harris, I mean out of Greenville, then drive up to Charlotte, still have the same situation. It's especially Greenville's such an easy airport, man. It's easy. It's
Yeah,
smaller.
yeah,
really
it's same for us. Sometimes I'll pay a little more for like Sarasota Airport because like one of those airports, like you walk in and then you just walk to your gate. Sarasota is still an international airport. It's a big airport, but compared to like Tampa or anywhere else, it's still small. You go in, you go up the escalators, you go right to your gate. Tampa, Atlanta, it's just you got to go here, you got to go here, you got to take a shuttle. Atlanta, at least I mean, I've flown in and out of Atlanta so many times in my life. I just know I need 45 minutes of like, if sometimes the layover sucks because it's like it's 45 minutes or it's 2 hours. You're like, damn it. It's like 45 fucking.
You're running.
You are running. Now,
You're
like
running.
the last time I had a 45-minute layover in Atlanta and I landed and I walked off and I walked 2 steps to the next gate and I'm like, praise Jeebus. Look at that.
Yeah, that rarely happens. You're usually going down that escalator with those funky freaking neon lights and
and then hustling to the shuttle, getting on the shuttle, a mile away, and then it's 45 minutes is tough Atlanta for a layover.
It is.
You are fucking hustling.
Even Charlotte, for how big Charlotte is, it's a pretty simple airport laid out really well, and even getting the shuttle from the daily parking and so on and so forth. That you freaking park, you walk out, there's a shuttle, boom, you're over there in 5 minutes. I mean, it's Wyatt flew out of there. I went over with him. Real simple, real easy. But Harrisburg is the same way. When I was up in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, it's an international airport, and it's based off of their runways. The length of their runways is what makes them an international airport. They have to have an airway. Their runways long enough to accommodate international flights for the big jets. So when you have an airport like Harrisburg, it was actually, I believe, it was a converted military airport. They have long runways, but years ago, before they redid everything, Harrisburg literally looked like an old post office building that just someone was like, okay, bring up that trailer, just welded trailers together, and was like, trailer 1 is gate A1, trailer 2 is gate A2. Yeah. And that's what it looked like. Now they rebuilt it. It's beautiful. It's ridiculous. And Greenville here was kind of similar. It was a smaller one. They rebuilt that. It's beautiful, but still, to your point, you show up, you walk up, you're going to be freaking, you go right through freaking security, no problem. Bing, bang, boom. And you're out the door. I was surprised how small Billings, Montana airport was. In my heyday, I probably could have sprinted from one end to the other. It'd have been like 100-yard sprint. It was not very big at all, because it was like you walked in after you go through, your security, and there's the bar and restaurant, and you're like, okay, I'll make a right, and there's the gates, and it's like, okay, well, here's a little newsstand or whatever. Here's a little food place, and nothing else. What's down at the other end? Nothing. A diner and a small bar, and that was it. It was very, very, very small, and real easy to get through. But we had a laugh, Jen and I, when we got there. So I look like me, the way I look, right? Jennifer's, she's all ready to travel. So we throw stuff on. Beep, they run everything through. Hands up, go through the scan and everything. So we're getting dressed. TSA had a girl. They had a girl that they were given the full search. This poor girl, there's no way she was hiding underwear. She had on yoga pants, tight yoga pants, and a tight tank top, like workout tank top. That's it. And sneakers. They have her with her hands up. They're freaking going through her hair. They're doing this stuff, and I'm looking at them going, why don't you want to pat me down like that? Yeah. If I was wearing yoga pants, would you want to pat me down? But I mean, we went through. She was in front of us. We were able to go through, gather all of our stuff, put our shoes back on, walk in, look at stuff in the store, buy some shit, walk out, and they're still patting this poor girl down. I'm like, really? There was very little to the imagination on what could have been hidden. it's like, if it would have been me, I get it. They had to run me through the scanner 3 times. The first 2 didn't
Really?
take. Yeah, first 2 didn't take. And then the third time it's like, okay, I looked at all my hot spots, pocket here. So then they're like, what's that? Oh, okay. What's this in your pocket? Okay. All right, you're good to go. Her in the yoga pants? Oh,
Yeah.
don't move. We gotta call security. Bring several people over here.
Yeah, I they hand me that. I got the TSA pre-checks. You hang on to that card the whole time, and sometimes it'll beep. They'll come through, wand you, half-assed, man, whatever. Get the fuck out of here, So that's why I like the pre-check, man. Like I said, they just breeze you right through the security, and I do leave Jessica behind though. Like sometimes some airports you can bring someone with you. Like, so she'll try and sneak on. Most of the time, if the line is really long for the regular one, and we know, like Sarasota, like we'll know that she can't get through with me, but she comes up with me anyways. Like, oh, she's not TSA pre-check. Just, you got to go over to there. So she'll cut in front of 50, 60, 70 people. And they just like, hey, just walk right next door right there. So that's the reason why we do it there, because at least she gets through. But I won't stand in line with her. If I went through my due diligence, I spent the time, I got my TSA pre-check, I will wait for you on the other side.
I'll be honest, I don't think I could do that for Jen. I don't think I could do that to Jennifer.
Really?
Yeah. I think if I was able to give her to TSA, I'd have her just go through TSA instead of me.
Yeah, it's not my fault she didn't get off her ass and get her TSA pre-check.
Well, here's the deal. I love Jennifer. Not that you don't love Jessica. I love Jennifer. And I also know what I would hear on the other side.
Yeah.
And I'd rather hear thank you or hey, you didn't have to do that.
Well,
you
can't
wow,
you can't
that
give,
was.
Yeah, you can't give your TSA pre-check.
But I'm saying I would wait in line with her. I would rather hear thank you or you didn't have to do that or gosh, that was really good. I'd rather hear that than what I know I would hear if it was like
you know what I love? Not waiting in line and getting through security in a matter of minutes. That's what I love. Yeah. I love Jessica, but I love not waiting in lines either. That's why
I love no lines more
than TSA pre-check. Get your fucking TSA pre-check. So she still hasn't gotten it. So not
brutal. God almighty.
Yeah, now they got clear, they got TSA pre-check, they got all the crap, all of it. So I don't know.
Some of those lines are ridiculous. So I remember years ago. I was in Denver for training. We were training a new group of employees, and since we didn't have like a home office, we would just go pick a place. They'd rent out of these big buildings and stuff. So we were in Colorado. We were in Denver, and flying. I don't know if you've ever been to Denver Airport.
No.
Outside of the fact that the basement is where the
I know all about Denver Airport. I've seen a dozen specials on it. Yeah,
Illuminati and stuff. But the airport itself, just the way it's designed, looks like a freaking like a big circus tent. Like it's designed and stuff. But I had to fly home. They stupidly had training over Easter break. So we were there for 2 weeks, and he let us go home for an extended weekend for Easter break and then come back for 2 weeks. Flying out of a fucking airport over a holiday is the worst. And that line that I stood in freaking Denver had to be it's bad when you're like up a level and you're looking down at the line that you're in and you could see it all freaking squiggled around. I was like, you know what, man, by the time I got through there, we got to the bar and it was like, I'd like to have 3 Miller Lights. Where are your 2 friends? I have no one with me. I want 3 Miller Lights.
Yeah.
I'm lined up and I'm going to drink them very, very quickly because that was brutal. Traveling on a holiday like that is tough.
I've never flown on a holiday. I don't want to. When I do fly, I try my very, very best to get a 5 or 6 a.m. flight. I get there a little early. I get all the way up. Usually my last half dozen times, I'm the very first one in checkout or in security. I wait. Yeah, in the morning, it's just
Mhm.
so much easier than flying. If you got to fly out
Oh
like at
no, yeah.
5 or 6 o'clock at night, oh, it's a fucking nightmare.
No, earlier flights are the best, and especially if you're traveling west. I mean, you pick up so much more time. It's so great. I remember we flew into California, and it was Monday. So we flew first thing Monday morning. It was for a meeting. We got there, and Monday Night Football was like 4 in the afternoon. It's like by the time the game's over, they're like, "Yeah, the game's over." It's like, well, if I was back home, I'd be in bed.
Yeah,
Now
yeah,
it's like it's the sun's still out. Like, what the hell
yeah,
am I gonna do
yeah,
now?
yeah, yeah.
It's
Oh,
crazy.
hey, I forgot, Kerr, we got an ad read. Let's hear
Oh,
a
I'm
little word
sorry.
from our partners over at Fogbox.
Let's be real. Most travel cigar cases look the same. Black, boring, forgettable. But Fogbox, they're doing it different. Every Fogbox travel case and lighter features custom Hydro Dip graphics, from bold patterns to badass designs that pop. These aren't just tools, they're statements. Whether you're at a lounge, a campsite, or on the beach, Fogbox gear stands out while keeping your cigars protected and fresh. Plus, the quality is rock solid. Airtight, rugged, and built to handle wherever you take it. If you're still carrying around the same black, plain cigar case everyone else has, it's time for an upgrade. Visit fogbox.com and grab something as unique as your cigar taste. That's fogbox.com. Built to travel, designed to stand out.
You know, it's what gets me. You know, like the first Ohio State game of the year was like a noon game, which sucks. I hate noon games because like your whole day is fucked. You
Mhm.
know, like you get up in the morning, got a little breakfast, and then you're just piddling around, wait until the noon game. By the time the game's over with, you know, then it's dinner time, and then like you have nothing else. But you know, on the West Coast, it's like 9 a.m. Can you imagine waking up at 9 a.m., you know, to watch a football game? Oh,
Brutal. It's
fucking
rough.
brutal. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Monday Night Football, we didn't know what to do afterwards. We're like, "What
yeah.
the."
Can you imagine? I don't even know what I would do. Like I said, yeah, it's, you know, like you're sometimes you can't stay awake to the end of the game. You
Yeah.
know, and like, yeah,
It's like I missed the fourth quarter. You know, you're out
yeah,
west, you watch, you're like, "Well, son of a bitch, where are we going from here? The football game's
yeah,
over.
yeah.
I'm in bed by now."
Yeah, yeah. Is there any other games after this? No, there are not.
Puff, puff, ponder. That is right.
Oh, so what else is going on in the anything in the news, or what do you
Well,
want to talk about the news? Yeah.
well, we did have the Charlie Kirk memorial.
Yeah, let's go
Um,
back and they live streamed the whole thing, right?
it was live. Yep, yep.
Okay, so I'll have to go back and watch. I mean, my last couple days have been so busy. I've only seen just a couple of little clips. I saw President Trump talking for just a few minutes. I heard Erica Kirk got up and made um, a nice little speech or
Yeah,
whatever you want to call it. So um,
there was some. I mean, you know, listen, it's a memorial. I think some folks, you know, use it as an opportunity to pontificate a little bit. But you know, at the end of the day, regardless of what you remember, I do remember his wife getting up and saying that she forgives the assassin.
yeah,
And I mean, again, that's you know, that's what Christianity teaches you. You know, is you forgive your enemies. Um, you still there?
yeah, yeah. I'm still here.
Oh yeah, my screen acted up. So that was really really good to see. I think it was I'm sure there's a lot of folks who are going to take some of the rhetoric and spin it. I mean, we've seen enough people spin stuff. That's what these people do, you know. But you know, it was really inspiring to see her get up there and regardless of what people think. I mean, it's tough to get up there. I mean, you just lost your husband, love of your life, and um,
And now you got to make some kind of
yeah,
statement, speech, eulogy
there's
in front of 60,000 people that were there and
yeah,
millions of people watching. You know, and
yeah,
they're
and
hanging
everyone's
on your every word.
hang on your every words. And I mean, I thought what she had to say was very powerful, and I think that you know it was, in line with their belief. The one thing that I did read I found interesting is that the reason why it was attended so well, but more importantly, the reason why it was watched by so many people is a lot of the rhetoric that you're hearing about this gentleman um, from certain folks um, and maligning him and calling him this, that. What it's doing is it's causing people to go say, really? Well, I'm going to go watch some videos. You start watching some videos of his interactions and his questions and his talking to some folks. And you're like, hold on for a second here. You know, Jimmy Kimmel, blah, blah, blah. This person's saying this and that about him. I'm not seeing that right now. I'm seeing a guy who's disagreeing with someone, but they're disagreeing respectfully. Anytime someone is shouting down or disrespecting the person he's arguing, he tells the crowd to stop it and listen to what they have to say. He's telling, and I think it's causing more people to watch the videos and actually see who the real person was. And I think they're gaining more and more followers and fans because if you really want to know what the person's about, don't listen and read freaking headlines and snapshots. Go watch a video. Go watch a full interview. Watch them interview folks who are the opposing, who have opposing political views. Yeah, some of them got heated, but all in all, I think some of the things that he was accused of. Again, you take a snippet here, and if if anything, you take a snippet of this show and put it out there, and you're going to sound horrible. I'm going to sound horrible. But if you play everything in context, it makes sense. And I think that's what we're starting to see is you're starting to see more and more people who either didn't know him very well or may not be overly familiar with him and may have seen some of the rhetoric and some of the negativity about the person he was. Whether it's CNN or MSNBC saying he was a controversial figure, he spewed out hate messages, he was anti-LGBTQ community, he was this, he was that, and then you watch some of his interactions and his interviews, you're like, whoa, I'm not seeing any of that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was AOC or someone else, because they had the National Day of Remembrance now going forward, but said that he had declared several times in videos that he was against like affirmative action. And yeah. I'm like, oh, that sounds, so I'm like, hey, let me go and look that up. Then I found some videos of what he said, then what other people were reacting. And it's like, oh no, that he wasn't against affirmative action. He was just against the way it was written because now it's opened up so many loopholes. And that's what people now are trying to dig into, all those loopholes that they created. And that's kind of some of the mess that we're in. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I understand, he wasn't against, affirmative action. He was just against the way that it was written and left it too wide open.
Right.
And now the way that we're interpreting it in 2025, versus then. Right. And I'm like, oh, okay. But so he wasn't against affirmative action. Yeah, so but some people would say he was against affirmative action. Well, he was a racist. Well, son of a bitch, I didn't know that.
Well,
that's it.
Very weak dotted lines. I've heard them say that he was he hated gays and LGBTQ community. And I watched an interview and the person was talking about being part of the LGBTQ community. Is someone from the crowd said something. He said, "Hey," he goes, "Are you a Christian?" And the guy said, "Yes." He goes, "Then you shouldn't be saying that." He goes, "Yeah, Jesus loved everyone." He goes, and he told the person who's asked questions, he goes, "I love you." He goes, I have my beliefs. I'm strong in my beliefs." He goes, "But it doesn't mean that I love you less or think less of you. He goes, or respect you or don't want to have this dialogue with you and understand where you're coming from." And those are the stuff, in my opinion, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. When you're talking about love over hate, I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't. Yeah, especially if you disagree with someone. You could disagree with someone, and that was the one thing. If you're strong in your beliefs, but you're not using those beliefs to criticize and chastise someone, but it's still coming from love. I think that's a positive and a good thing. If you want to have an open dialogue on your beliefs versus mine, and at the end of the day, you learn a little bit more about the other person, and then you agree to disagree and you move on. That's great. But I've seen a couple of those interactions where he has condemned other people and followers of him in the crowd of saying, listen, if you're a Christian, then you shouldn't be saying what you're saying there, bro, because what you're doing is opposite of what we learn and what we know. You should be loving towards your fellow man, your fellow woman. Period.
Yeah, I know the one thing that he was, and I watched several videos from different colleges, and he was really torn on IVF. On whether, because as a Christian, and it was he's like, there was a young lady, like she, her and her sister, they were conceived during IVF, and he basically like, you are God's gift. I'm so thankful you are here. And the one thing that tore him was how many eggs they discarded. He goes, that's where I'm like torn on IVF, because you're discarding so many other potential lives to, like basically like, let's, fertilize 6 or 8 eggs. He said, throw them at the wall and see which ones stick. Oh, this one stuck. Let's just get rid of the rest of them. And that was one thing that he was really torn on, and he would openly admitted that. He's like, that is just one thing that has kind of stuck with him. And yeah, I mean,
I'd be interested in seeing that, because I mean, I understand, if that's what his belief is, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is you're trying to overcome some of the, challenges that you have, and to create life. This is what's necessary in order to do it, because you want to have a family. And it's I think, again, when I talk about my beliefs, I pretty much keep them to myself, because I don't, all you need is someone to freaking blow it out of proportion. But I just think, politically, I think when it comes to AOC, God Almighty, when you mentioned that, it reminds me. Roseanne Barr had one of the best lines I've ever heard, and I'm not an overly big fan of Roseanne Barr, right? I'm not. I think she's funny at times, but overall,
yeah,
I never was a fan of her show. I never really found much. I just wasn't, right. And I know a lot of people who love that show, and that show did. I mean, it addressed a lot of. I mean, it was another one of those shows that really was very progressive in the time frame it was in. But,
yeah, I liked it early on.
Yeah, but she said, AOC, she's like, she's got those crazy eyes. She has realtor eyes, and freaking. Everyone, I think she was on Howard Stern when she said it. Everyone just kind of looked at her, and she made her eyes real big. She goes, "You ever see those pictures on the business card of realtors? She's got realtor eyes." And fucking, as soon as you freaking plug in realtor and you look at a picture, you're like, son of a bitch, she was dead spot on, and it's funnier than hell.
Yeah, but AOC, when she purses her lips and gets some real big eyes, I'm like, those are crazy eyes.
Yeah,
realtor
eyes.
Yeah, AOC's got the crazy eyes
for eyes. I just one of those freaking jokes that are just like so subtle, but have so much freaking truth and humor to it that most folks didn't get it. But man, oh man, that was funny. Yeah, she's that one there. I don't understand. I know a lot of people look up to her and think she's a big role model, but man, sometimes when she just starts talking, you're just like, stop, please, just stop.
It's AOC will draw me in. Like, she will make some great statements and talking about where she wants to see America go, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, like, I think this lady has it. I mean, she's I think she's coming around, because before, I really didn't like her at the beginning. I'm like, yeah, like I'm kind of digging on what she's saying. And then she goes off, and then she just talks about the cows farting, and then how we need to take away from this, and give it to these people, and we need to expand these programs. And I'm like, and there it is.
It's like those people that can keep they can keep it together for so long.
Yeah.
But once they reach that freaking point, the wheels are gonna fall off the wagon. Because I like you, I mean, she makes some points. You're like, God, yeah, you're making fun of her because she was a bartender X amount of years ago. But look at the position she's in now. Look what she's doing.
Yeah.
And look at the headway, and look at what she's saying. And oh shit, that was fucking stupid. Wow. Okay, moving right along. And you see a lot of politicians who say some of the god awful dumbest stuff, and you're just like, why? Why are you saying that? Why does right and left? Like, why? Who's the guy who said that the one island was going to tip over if they had more people on the one side?
I know. It
And
was
I'm like, come on. Like, is this an SNL skit right now? Because honestly, it's starting to feel that way. It really is. It's starting to feel a little SNL-y, when you're talking about, hey, we really got to watch the population because we have too many people living on this side of the island.
Yeah.
Gilligan the skipper,
It's like years ago when they made fun of Trump, and I said the windmills are killing all the birds. I think we've talked about that before. People were like, that guy's an idiot. And then he showed the picture, and there's like thousands and thousands of dead birds. And then people out like Texas and Kansas and Indiana, like, yeah, it's literally a graveyard. Like, they can't not. I'm like, I don't know, that thing's been pretty slow. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, that was a dumb thing to say. They just fly right around them. No, they don't. They get hit by the wind and they die. Thousands and thousands.
Well, you listen to him talk, man. There's some days you're just like, wow, that dude's just like, just stop talking there, bro, because you're just. And then there's other times you're like, some days, a lot of days, it's like, is he that dumb or is he that smart? Because it seems like he's playing checkers while everyone else is playing chess. And again, I'm coming from a point of objectivity, because there have been a lot of U.S. presidents, both on the right and the left, that are, like George W. Bush. The guy was a pilot.
Yeah.
You just can't be a dumbass, and just because your dad's last name is Bush, and be a pilot. John McCain was a pilot. But when you heard George Bush talk, he just was. I mean, you're just sitting there going, dude, what part of the right and left part of your brain are not connecting right now?
Pilot, graduated Harvard?
Yale and Harvard.
Or Yale and Harvard. But yeah, sometimes you hear him talk and it's just like, huh.
You're like, dude, I mean, seriously? Like, but again, I mean, they just don't let anybody be a pilot.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things where it's like, oh, your last name's Shahan? Okay, you know what? You can go ahead and we'll let you in. You may get some consideration, but you have to have some talent and some skills to be able to accomplish that. Bill Clinton too. He's a Rhodes Scholar. The guy was one of the best politicians in our generation.
Oh, without a doubt.
But you also heard him argue well over the word "is" to Monica Lewinsky. Like, you're sitting there going, that dude's arguing. I think it was the word "is."
Yeah.
But you're like, how is he's making sense? He almost has me convinced over this. Well, the word is the way it was used. It's just, but again, you have to be pretty effing smart, and pretty charismatic to be able to do that.
I liked Clinton. I liked when he would go for his jog and then he'd go to McDonald's and get like an ice cream cone or something. And
do you ever see that skit in Saturday Night Live when they did that with Phil Hartman? Was one of the best.
No,
it's Phil Hartman comes running in to a McDonald's as Bill Clinton. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, the president! What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm just out for my run, just having fun." And what are you doing? He goes, "Well, we're over there. We're working on trying to create some peace with the warlords." So like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, just look at it this way. Let's say we're sending shipments. Let's say these fries are shipments, and I need to get the shipment from here to the people, but warlord intercepts it." Let's say that like the whole skit is him talking about how they're sending supplies over and it's getting intercepted by the warlords. And every time he says it, he's eating food going, "Warlord." I mean, just a freaking hilarious
Oh my God, that's great.
over that. And, again, we actually, we met a guy at Smoker Friendly Lounge. And Kevin, I got to tell you, the first time in my adult life and being in as many cigar lounges I've ever been in, had a conversation on politics in a lounge.
Really?
This guy, yeah. And I told the guy, super nice guy, and at the end I said, "I got to tell you something." I said, "It's the first time I ever had a political conversation in a cigar bar."
Did he have opposing views, or what was the?
No, well, it's Wyoming. He's very, very right leaning.
That's what I figured in that area.
Very interested in what he was saying. With him being an investor, and talking about tariffs and the good, the bad, and the ugly with tariffs, and just some really good conversations, and pretty interesting to hear what he had to say. But it was the first time, like I said, I had a conversation in a cigar bar, a lounge, about politics. But we were talking about just how politicians were and how they are now. And I'm like, I remember when I first moved down here to Greenville, and I was sitting at Stack's Diner with the girl who's working for me. We're sitting there eating. I look over and I'm like, she goes, "What?" I go, "It's Jesse Jackson." I know Jesse Jackson's from around this area. He's got famous stuff. She's like, "Who?" I said, "Jesse Jackson." I'm like, You don't know Jesse Jackson?"
What? Yeah.
And she's like, "No." I'm like, "God Almighty!" He's a political activist. Said, "Don't you remember the skit that they did where he actually read Green Eggs and Ham on they had I think Daryl Hammond imitated him. Then he actually came on and read Green Eggs and Ham." And she's like, "No." And he noticed that we noticed him. And he came walking over to the table and he goes, "How you all doing?" I said, "We're doing good." And he reaches over. She stands up, gives her a hug, and he kisses her on the cheek. And he shakes my hand and he turns. I go, "Jesse." He goes, "What?" He goes, turns around, looks at me, I go, "No hug for me?" And he goes, so I stood up, gave him a big hug, and he goes, I said, "What? No hug and kiss for me?" And he goes, "Brother, I was afraid you'd kiss me back."
Yeah.
Gave me a great big hug and walked away. And I sat down and I was like, if I spend another 10 minutes with that man, I'd vote for him for president. That's how charismatic he is.
I remember Donald Trump Jr. in one of the herfs that we were on, and talking about that too, because Jesse Jackson belongs to the same cigar lounge as he does, and Trump Jr. he's like, "Man," like I said, "we have these fantastic conversations and absolutely love talking with him, and they can agree on a lot of stuff. They can politely disagree on a lot of stuff as well. It never gets heated, and then they leave the lounge, and then that's when everybody's got to go back to their talking points." And he said, "If we could just get everybody in a cigar lounge," this is Donald Trump Jr., "if we could just get everybody in a cigar lounge, making policy and talking," he goes, "well, we'd solve a lot of the world's problems."
My buddy, I worked with a buddy, Kevin Finnegan, back at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and I worked on the retail end of things, and he worked on the wholesale end of cars. And a lot of our cars that we would buy and sell on the retail end, we had to get from our wholesalers. And Kevin was always trying to squeeze every dollar he could. And this is he's not selling to a dealership. He's selling to the guy who's at the cubicle two cubicles away from him. And he and I would go at it every day. We'd yell at each other, but it was like that old cartoon with the coyote and the sheepdog. Sam and Ralph, They come out of their houses. Hey, how you doing, Sam? They go walk to work together.
Yeah,
They
clock it. Yeah.
clock in together. They fight all day long. They clock out. So Kevin and I did. We would come walking in together. Hey, let's go. Boom. We'd argue and fight all day. At the end, we'd walk out. We'd go down to the bar. We'd spend the night together, hanging out, having drinks, and goofing around and laughing. Next morning, we see each other come in and start all over again. We fought, called each other names, yelled. It was horrible during the day. But as soon as that 5 o'clock whistle blew, or 6 o'clock, whatever time we were done, and we'd leave, not one word was spoken outside of that door about work. We just went out. We had a great time, and he's one of the nicest guys. We were good, really solid friends back then. But he was one of the guys who I disliked at work because he was a hard head. He was a hard ass, and I was trying to fight for every dollar. He was trying to fight for every dollar, and our boss oversaw both of the departments. He used to stoke the fires because he loved to sit there and watch the arguments go on back and forth. But yeah, it was like Ralph. That's what they used to call us, Ralph and Sam. Whenever we'd come in together, because sometimes, especially, we'd hang out and it'd be like, Kevin, I'm going to crash at my house or whatever, or vice versa, or at my apartment, his place, and we'd come into work together the next day, and then we'd fight all day long, and people just laugh at us.
Yeah, I remember my one of my old bosses. I still worked for the company, just a different store. I remember one day he's a democratic socialist, verging on democratic communist. I remember one day we got into it. I mean, it was just all day back and forth. And then we were both leaving at 5 o'clock, and he's like, hey, you want to go down to the Mug for a burger and a beer? And I'm like, yeah, come on, I'll meet you down there. I'm driving. And we get down there, we just talking about chit chat, how's things going? How's the wife going? And but that was it, we clocked out and that was it. At the end of the day, it's like we still agree to disagree, so, but yeah, same thing. Fight like cats and dogs sometimes. But I knew how to press his button. So
of course, that's always helpful. Yeah. Kevin used to know how to press mine too, because I'm a larger mammal, right?
Yeah.
And I was back then. I mean, gosh, you're talking. I was probably early 30s, late 20s, so I was much younger too, a little bit better shape. And Kevin he was about 5'10", but was super skinny, and he always wore like perfect suit and starched shirts.
Yeah.
And again, he knew how to press my buttons, and I was just like, I just want to grab you and just twist you. I was like, I used to call it his exoskeleton. That's how starched his shirt was. I said, I just want to rip off your exoskeleton. I said, and freaking bash you over the head with it. And then we'd leave and freaking sit there. And like I said, we were great friends for several years working together. But that's, you were able to leave it at the door. I know Reagan used to talk about that too. He's like, there's a time to fight and then there's a time just to break bread and relax, afterwards. We're fighting different sides of the aisle. We both want kind of the same thing, but go about it differently. Just learn how to get along. And when you start really drawing these lines in the sand of, if you are not with me, you're against me. You're drawing some serious lines, man, and you're making some serious accusations, and you're alienating some people that are fantastic people, no matter what their beliefs are.
Yeah, I remember once when Trump was running and it was getting down and it looked like he was going to win. I remember messaging him one day, and I just the text was "choo choo," and he came back with just a question mark, and I go, "That's the Trump train coming through." and I remember like an hour later, his service manager, my buddy, messaged me. He's like, what did you say to him? He has been motherfucking you all day in a pissed off mood. And I'm like, oh, is that all it took? Choo choo. Trump train coming through. So it was I love it.
You get those things like, well, what did you supported me, vote for him? No, I just knew that statement would piss you off.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's fun to get some things going. Bill Ragone. Bill's very much right leaning. I went to college with his twin brother Shahan.
Yeah.
And Sean's very left leaning. So back when we used to communicate a lot, it was the same way. I could say something, like you get Shahan fired up, you get Bill fired up, and you get those two fired up at each other. You just kind of sit back and watch the sparks fly. Yeah. It's pretty funny, but both good guys. Shahan too. I mean, Shahan, he's a successful physician, and during college, it was like, when I first met Sean, we hung out, it was like, if you'd have told me he'd be a freaking a physician working for the he was working for the CDC and poison control, I'd have been like, him? Seriously?
Is that what he still does? I haven't
I don't know.
seen
He's
him.
down in Florida now. I don't know what he's doing now, but he did work up here in Atlanta for years.
Yeah. I know he moved to Florida a number of years ago.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing now. We'll have to catch up with him, but he had a really strong career. What's funny is he left after like the first couple of years. He left, and I was down in Orlando with a bunch of buddies of mine for spring break, and we ran into him.
Yeah.
We were outside of Phineas Fugg's, which had nickel beer night, and we're like, Sean, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm in medical school down in the Dominican Republic or wherever he was going to medical school. We're like, shut up, dude. What are you doing? Seriously. He's like, I'm in medical school. We're like, all right, man, we'll see you. And that was like the last I saw him until we kind of reconnected.
Yeah.
But Phineas Fugg's was the place that is well known where, and we were talking to the bartender, it was around that time too, that Charles Barkley threw the guy out the front window.
Oh yeah. God.
Yeah. He was throwing ice at him. And he's just like, he said, Barkley's just like, stop. Just stop. I just leave me alone. If you don't stop, I'm going to throw you through the window. And it's like, you hear people say stuff like that. You're like, yeah, right. It's Charles fucking Barkley.
Yeah.
Guess what happened? Got tossed
Yeah.
the window.
Oh my God.
We're 2 hours already.
Yeah, man, it's 2 hours. So I want to thank everybody for coming on and spending a couple hours your Monday night with us. Remember, head over to jcnewmancigars.com, find out your local retailer for that's participating in Bricktoberfest. If you're down in the Bricktoberfest 2025, if you're in the Tampa Ybor City area, October 16th, 17th, 18th, hop online and book a tour, the Haunted Tour. Jessica and I will be there the 18th at the 8 p.m. tour. So be nice and spooky. So come and
fun.
Yeah, come and
fun, man.
Come and join us for the tour. It's going to be really, really fun.
And tonight is the Lions Ravens, and the Lions are up 14-7.
Oh, is that who's playing tonight? I didn't know. I didn't look up to see who's playing tonight.
Yeah, they're both 1-1. I mean, they're both pretty good teams, but their record is. I think this is an important game for both of them, a big turning point. Didn't the Ravens dropped a close one last week? Didn't they?
Yeah.
They got beat. They got beat by the Bills by 1 point.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Beat the Browns pretty heavily, but who can't beat them? But
yeah,
the Lions too. The Lions, I know, they're coming off of a great year, but also, coming off of a big win against the Bears, but then losing to the Packers. The Packers are, it's going to be an interesting division. That division's always interesting.
So, all right, we'll see everybody back next Monday night. We'll talk about my whatever I do for my big birthday weekend. I got a birthday coming up on Friday or Saturday, something like that.
I'm looking forward to it. By the
what's that? Thursday? Oh, my birthday's Thursday. Oh,
well, that's what happens when you
Friday.
celebrate. That's what happens when you celebrate your birthday the whole month. You forget what fucking day.
What's that, Jess? Oh, it is Friday. So, all right.
Tell Jessica that's what happens when you celebrate your birthday for a whole month. You forget what day it is.
Yeah, I forget what day it is. Yeah, it's a whole month long. I did get tracking for 2 people that are sending me gifts because I put my address out on Facebook, and so I got 2 people sending me gifts.
Wow, I should have thought of that. I didn't.
I know. It's awesome. I was hitting up all my area managers and regional managers at work because we have this points thing where you can go on and you can get different stuff. So I'm dry begging a bunch of people so I can get this cool ninja crock pot thing. So nice. Yeah, I don't celebrate my birthday, but I'll take a gift. Don't get me wrong. So
Wednesday night, Jennifer and I are going to be. I forgot. I want to make sure that I do announce this again. But we will be on the Wolfpack show. So check out the Wolfpack is on Instagram, and Jennifer and I will be on. I'm trying to figure out what time this is going to be, because Jennifer sent me the. You know how when you get sent something and you're like, oh crap, this is cool. I got to remember to send. Then it gets buried.
Oh, I know.
Because it's like 50,000 text messages have been sent on top of it.
That's why I tell everybody to email me. Please email me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 7:30 Eastern. Wolfpack. I'll make sure that I share it on my Instagram and on my Facebook as well. So Jennifer and I are going to be on there to talk about Joseph's trip to Africa. We got a nice. Jennifer's got some pictures and some more details, and the Wolfpack is also going to be donating, and there'll be one of the prizes that you can win, or that could be gifted to you. Right? We don't win prizes. It is a gift. It is an appreciation gift for your donations.
So all right, so everybody check that out on this Wednesday night, and then we'll see everybody back next Monday night. So make sure you're following us, Fogbox, social media, links, video description, podcast description, blah, blah, blah. Click them, follow, share, buy something. We'll see everybody next Monday night.
See you.